We'll just wait for a few minutes and then start. Should be fine now, I think. Hi, Pope. Nice to know. Nice to know that the Pope is a big fan. Nothing more important than this. Sorry guys, let's just start off with the questions. So the main idea of today's session again is to firstly, as you guys know, delay the बहुत हो गया है. But we are trying to keep sessions because पता है कि motivation कम है यार. We know it's a pretty tough place to be. बहुत ज़्यादा काम है and you know it's like August में चला गया है तो how do you keep the motivation high? So we thought one thing that helps a lot is talking to the people who've been through JP and getting their experiences. And at the same time, discussing what happens in mock scores and what scores are getting, what advice we can give for that. If you have any questions related to mock scores, how to study now, how to keep your motivation high, what JBIMS is like, we try answering all the questions. So please put in all your questions. We are here to answer them. But yeah, Salam Saab SG, same to you. Congratulations, you guys have graduated. So yeah, we actually have. 4 days ago we finished. We had a farewell and we are done with our time at JBIMS right now. So congratulations, Aditya. Nice smile.
Yeah, congratulations to the whole team and thanks, Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Steve Austin is here for Monday Night Raw. So that's great.
Very apt with the Monday Night Raw situation, but yeah.
Yeah. We kept the stream name for you, Steve Austin. So glad to see you here. Akshay has asked the first question, so we'll start.
Okay.
Is there any discrimination between MMS students and MHRD or Msc Finance with respect to placements, especially like who are most preferred? So there is not a preference, but it's not a discrimination, but some firms are looking for MBA students for their role. The MMS program is equivalent to an MBA, comparable to what the other IIMs are offering. So if firms are looking for MBA students, they hire only MMS students. Otherwise, some firms are open to MSc Finance and MMS. If there's a core finance role, some firms, and there is normally no HR specialization in MMS because not many students offer it. But if there's an HR role, then MMS, MHRD both are open to it. But you have to, it's not a distinction. It is what the firms are looking for. And in general, they are looking for MBAs. So yeah, more roles for MBAs and the MMS students. Hi, Sanket. Hi, Vishal Rane. Sanket is asking how to start grammar. Is Ren and Martin book good? Yeah, Sanket, Ren and Martin is obviously good, but it is higher than the CET level, and there is not a lot of grammar that comes in the CET, so you don't have to go through the entire Ren and Martin. You can, we would advise you to pick up in any book that is made for management aptitude exams, RS Agarwal or anything, or we also have some grammar in our ebooks. So any type of material, particularly for aptitude tests, for CAT, anything that would be preferable rather than a Brennan Martin.
And I think there are more, it's more like 84 rules that you need to remember. Wo rules yaad hai to ho jata hai. Random not becomes too much in depth. And same question you guys usually ask about Norman Lewis. So again, in that, when you do vocab also, it's like a very limited thing when you're studying from Norman Lewis. But when you do when you do words, like when you just do a word list or something like that, it's more advisable to do that. Plus, when it comes to RCs and all, I feel like RCs online are much better than reading editorials. So to complete the entire verbal section, I suppose this is how you should go about it, like in a very short way. Hi Nikita, nice to see you here. But just a few fun questions. Monday night raw hoga to Friday night SmackDown bhi hoga kya?
If you all want, yes.
Yeah, Harsh ka plan hai, we're giving full credit to him. I think he's probably on the call as well. He might be watching this right now, but Harsh, all credit to you. We'll probably do it on Friday as well. Dekh lete hain. But for motivation, just listen to Eminem, lose yourself. यार सॉन्ग सुन सकते हो बट एंड में काम तो करना ही है. सॉन्ग जितना सुनोगे उतना सुन सकते हो बट साथ में काम कर लेना. That is much more important than that. Please make a video on CFA L1 preparation. I do plan to make it. Let's see. So with CFA, it's very formal. You cannot give advice I say randomly. So I don't want to do anything. They have a very strict curriculum and strict ethics that they follow about advice as well. So I don't want to do anything out of that. So let's see. I'll try making, but let's see. How to prepare for vocab and grammar वो तो हो गया है. देखते हैं. Akshay asked the question, what are good things to know before MBA, MMS, SQL, Python, basic, etc. Honestly, SQL, Python will not help you much here. You do not need it in the MBA curriculum also. Maybe you'll have a few things on business analytics. But in case you want to do something in business analytics and all of this, if you want roles like that, maybe an MMS is not the best option for you. You should be looking at different roles because they are not going to come with these roles there. But that being said, when I joined JP Morgan during my internship as well, I saw a lot of opportunities to go across my role and help others build things. I'm a computer science engineer and I was actually looking for those roles. I was looking for AI roles and asking them if I can help in any certain places. So if you know it and you have a job where they are open to you crossing borders and helping, that would be fine. But otherwise, it doesn't really make sense because if you are going to work in, let's say, corporate finance or someplace where it's not needed, they might not require this as a job profile. It will definitely not help you get an edge over your competitors right now in a B school. But after getting a job, it might help. And Aditya, if you have anything to add here.
Yeah, I mean, see, firstly, it's a great skill to have. If you are interested in doing it, see, don't do it for a job. Particularly if you're interested in doing it, it's a great skill to have. You'll find some use for it. It can be useful in any kind of data analysis. So maybe consulting, as Anna said, business analyst roles. But again, as Anna said, some roles, corporate finance would not use it. So just decide what you're going to do. Consulting may, you can find a use for it. If you know there are big data sets that are hard to process on Excel, then SQL, Python will be helpful. Otherwise, I mean, just look at the roles you're looking for, Google what you need for that role. If it fits in, great, do it. There's no mandatory requirement as such to learn these, learn any language.
Sorry. Go.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, in Aditya's previous WorkX where he was working at ZS or over there, I think he had a couple of friends also who were working in data science consulting as well on that side of things. But they were not there with an MBA. They were there through their computer science curriculum. So in case you are someone who wants to do computer science and go ahead with it, I would suggest looking at other courses rather than an MBA because if you want that job, that's what you're looking for. Keep that distinction clear.
I mean, you see, if you want some intersection between tech and MBA, sort of tech consulting roles, that will be useful. See, I'm going on consulting because this is where I find the use case of these languages. Mainly it'll be in consulting, the intersection of MBA and tech both. So it will also be, actually, now that I think about it, in fraud roles also it could be useful, some basic knowledge. So tech plus MBA roles, if you're looking for sort of managerial tech roles, then yeah, will be useful. And in consulting also, there is a lot of tech consulting, analytics consulting, data science teams where you need your MBA skills, some knowledge from there, and some tech skills. So yeah, it depends on your interest, depends on what you want to do. As I said, not mandatory. But if you're interested, then definitely.
Yeah. Rajvardhan Raj is asking, one-to-one mentoring is still on for TDP. It is still on. We are in fact conducting sessions every day as of now as well. We've covered, I think, almost 80% of the students so far. So we are constantly keeping the one-on-one sessions going on, and it is something that we really look forward to and make sure that we're doing it nicely. But this is going to be on only for the next 1 month. This is our offer is going to, like, as of now, we are planning it for the next month. So that's how it's going to be. If you are interested in it, please reach out right now, because this is the time it's going to be most useful. In fact, if the exam was supposed to be in June, we were sometimes wondering how do we guide someone when there is only a month left. But now that it's been postponed to August, we have a lot more time to actually guide in different ways, not only from our course, including other things that you would want to be doing as well. So if you're interested in it, please head on to our website. I'll just put that in the chat as well. It's thetoppercentile.co.in. But yeah, it is still active, and yeah, hope to see you there soon.
Guys, we only have 3 likes, so please like the video so that other aspirants can come across it. It will be shared to other aspirants according to the YouTube algorithm. So please, it also keeps us motivated to do this more. If you like the content, like interacting with us frequently, then please like it.
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned thanks for
or dislike it, then we know that we shouldn't come live so often. But please, some reaction would be nice.
There was a comment on thanks for the genuine efforts, and I think what drives us is feedback from you guys. If you leave comments, or if you reach out to us on Instagram, or even if you just anything that we get from you guys, that's what motivates us to do this more. Otherwise, you'd rarely see someone doing this every couple of days, just starting a live and sitting there. So just reach out and let us know how we can help.
So we missed one question by Aditya. Aditya is asking any repeater here. So if you mean repeater of CET, I repeated CET. So I mean, in our team, that's what makes our team very good. And we have repeaters. We have people cracking the CET with a job, without a job, with college studies. Vidhan, 4 of us, Vidhan, Shreekanth, Ankit, and I were repeaters. Got a 99.x percentile and then converted JBIMS. So yeah, a lot of experience with repeating also and correcting the mistakes you made in your previous CET attempts. Okay.
And in case you haven't already, you should check our first webinar. We've answered this question in depth about how the strategy is different for a repeater versus for someone who's doing it in college, like Harsh and me. We were doing it in college. I've also made a study plan for students, and we'll be making a video on study plan for people with jobs as well. So just stay tuned to our channel. There's a lot of content coming out soon. Like the honestly, CET being postponed to August, we see that as more reason to help you guys right now and make more content. So stay tuned to our channel. There's a lot more coming up soon.
Yeah. Deathstroke is asking, guys, since JBIMS is known as the CEO factory, can you tell me how much % of the batch goes for entrepreneurship? Did any of your batchmates go for a startup? Okay, so I mean, JBIMS is known as a CEO factory. It doesn't mean that entrepreneurship is really popular here. A lot of people do it definitely, but CEO just means leading businesses, right? So everywhere JBIMS alums have proved their mettle, be it other firms which they end up leading or starting their own firms. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go for entrepreneurship, family businesses, etc.
In fact, I think, Aditya, you should mention the professors that we have about the Sehgals, how they push entrepreneurship in class as well.
Yeah, we also have a whole subject on entrepreneurship taken by Professor Chaya Sehgal, Professor Arun Sehgal. They have remarkable companies, built remarkable companies with huge turnovers, huge reputations. So yeah, I mean, we do learn entrepreneurship from our alums itself who have done it before. So that's great.
And they provide a lot of funding as well to people who want it. They are that connected with their students that if they want and they think the idea is good, they try to go into it and try to push you forward as well. And that's where the CEO factory and the entrepreneurship factory tag comes from. That's what they do for us. And that's the help that alumni provide. And as you know, there's a senior professor in JBIMS known as Professor Mankekar. He himself is a big investor as well. So if you've read up on him, if you haven't read up on him, please do a little research. He's a great professor at JBIMS. He also pushes these incentives and tries to go for these things over there.
MBA CET while repeating with a B school, yes, Janil. I mean, definitely possible. Time management prioritization will be required, but we've taken interviews of people are very close to Dhruv Shah, got a 99.99 percentile along with his first year at KJ Somaya. And people do it all the time. So definitely possible. Do give it a shot. Does your percentile matter while placement? Not really. I don't think shortlist depend on that. It is, I mean, your percentile is just one line in, 30-40 line CV. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. After all, everyone has made it to JBIMS. So maybe it's a slight difference, but in my opinion, didn't make any difference. The rest of your profile will matter more since this is just one line in your CV.
Yeah, like these are, see, when it comes to percentiles also, like Aditya and I, we had given a couple of exams, right? So we had our CAT percentile, we had CET, we had NMAT, SNAP. We used to put a lot of that in. You have a limited number of lines in your CV. Now, if you have a lot of percentiles and if you fill it up with your competitive scores, what is the HR actually understanding from that? They'll just understand that you have a good aptitude, but what are they looking for over there? They're looking for somebody who has domain knowledge, somebody who has experience, somebody who can do a lot of things, manage a team. That is not what is reflected from your competitive scores, right? So once you're in JB, there are a lot of other things that you have to focus on. And this is one thing that we always try to talk about. Like JB is your first goal. Then there are other goals after that. It's not the end goal. It's the first goal of many. Then you go for other things. In fact, last year when 13 of our students got through JBIMS, we made a separate group for them. We had a separate group where we mentored them that what you should be doing in JBIMS once you're in, because that's a completely different conversation. For the longest time, they were preparing for CET, but after they go through JB, we kept a separate group. That's how we know them so well as well after that. And we've kept in touch. In fact, they've got great summer internships as well right now. If you look them up on LinkedIn, you'll come to know as well.
Please look them up on LinkedIn. They have incredible summer internships, consulting, finance, whatever, top companies of India, they're all there.
But yeah, just remember how the entire thing plays out. And same thing with other things as well, internships. Just keep that in mind. It's an overall CV. There are around 60 to 70 lines that you need to put in. You have to put in that. Now, what you select is up to you. And that's how you have an entire competition between people, right? That's how you compare people. How do you prepare for quants? There are two questions on quants. I think Harshal has asked a question on how CET 21 quant was. And how do you prepare for quant from a non-engineering background? So CET 21, I was in the 6th lot. I had taken the paper in the 6th lot, but others were in the 5th slot from the top percentile. We did not obviously take it seriously. We took it as a paper just to see how the exam was. But in our experience, when you take a paper without fear or when you take it after having practiced a lot, it did not feel very difficult for us. We were able to, I personally solved around 180 questions in the first, I think 90 or 100 minutes. And I was able to do this using 2 sheets of paper, like 2 sides of paper, not even 2 sheets. So for me, it wasn't difficult, but that was also because I was trying to solve it in a particular way. And that method is not using paper, firstly. And secondly, trying to be as quick with calculations as you can. For that, there are a lot of things. As if you've seen my earlier interviews, you would have seen that I have spoken about multiplying numbers whenever you can. If you see something like 3856 or number plate 3856, you multiply everything, or you add everything, and you just want to be as fast as possible with that. You want to keep trying better methods to solve, and that is what helps in the exam as well. But when it comes to preparation beforehand, when it comes to everything beforehand, there are 2 things. One is knowledge and one is calculations. Knowledge can be built up only by using formulas and by learning what the basic books tell you. Calculations are built up using better methods, better calculations, and practice every day. If you just do that, I think that's what is needed. In CET, 25 questions are DI, which anybody can get. You don't have to be an engineer, doesn't matter. Engineers is just people who've done maths from 2 out of their 4 years after they've stopped in 12. So if you're a non-engineer, you just haven't done math for 2 extra years, We don't do it in our final 2 years. It's only 2 years where we do it. So it's not that big a difference between the two of you. It's just a mental block that you have. So that's the only thing that you have to keep in mind. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, let's move ahead. Does a high OPEX like 4 years be a disadvantage during placement in general? No. I mean, you have to portray it as a strength. You will have so much domain knowledge. You would have learned a lot of things in 4 years. Got promotions. You can point out a lot of strengths in that, but there's no disadvantage as such. Is there a big difference between MBA and MMS? There is no difference, at least in India. Globally, it's different, but India, there is no difference. MMS is equivalent to an Indian MBA, equivalent to whatever the IIMs offer. I mean, the evidence of that is that whatever companies come visit different campuses, they offer the same role to colleges that give an MBA give out an MMS from JBIMS. So it's the same. When you join, you'll join with 10-20 people from different IIMs, FMS, SIBM, etc. So there is no difference.
Shubhendru asked a question, approximately how many mocks should I give for CET 22? Our golden number, again, there's nothing fixed. Aditya had taken, I think, around 30 mocks or 20 to 30 mocks.
20
I think I should
to
take
30,
20.
yeah.
I had taken 63. Last year, Aditya Prabhu, one of our students who got into JB, he took, I think, 100 mocks. So everybody has a different number. Everybody takes a different amount of mocks, but our golden range is usually 30 to 40 mocks. That's the minimum that you should take, because if you're taking and analyzing that many mocks, you've done a good amount of questions. That'll be enough to get you through it, or at least give you a good grasp of how CET works. I think that's how you have to go about it. And when it comes to what the ideal schedule for a new beginner should be, I think Harsh has made a video on study plans and how you should go about it. You should firstly watch that. If you're a student, I made a video on study plan for this with studying. Shreekanth will be coming up with a video which is a detailed plan of how the next few months should be looking till August, how you should be going about that. He's already made a video, in fact, on how to prepare for 7 weeks, I think. It's on our channel. It doesn't change. If the date changes, it doesn't change now. So just watch those videos. We'll keep coming up with more content, but those videos are dedicated to that. They'll guide you better. So I'd suggest going to our channel and going through all of that. That'll be a lot better there.
Yeah, but again, 30-40 mocks is a thumb rule. But quality of mocks and analysis, takes precedence over the quantity of mocks you have to give. So don't just set a number, try to reach 40 mocks. However, it will not help you. You have to analyze each and every one of the mocks you give, and then with that method, try to reach 30 mocks, etc. Difference between SC and open category score is high or low. I mean, should be significant. Don't know what you mean by high or low, but there is a difference. Do you know someone who has 4+ years of work experience in IT and FMCG or advertising for or core firm hiring them? So, I mean, don't worry about, once you enter JBIMS, mentors are allotted to you. Your seniors will mentor you. So, typically, it will be someone with a similar profile, similar interest. So, they will guide you really well. And people do come here with 4+ years of work experience. And I can't think of names right now, but they do get their dream jobs wherever it is. It just depends on how you portray whatever you learned in those 4 years, whatever skills you learned, you communicate that to your interviewer.
There are a couple of questions on JB versus IMs, new IMs, etc. So Presha asked the question. I think there's another question that I read about new IMs, Pratham. Basically, when it comes to these things, you need to figure out what the college is going to do for you. See, there's a standard that a college sets. If you're in a particular college, you don't have to prove yourself to a point. If you're from JBIMS, if you're from a top IM, if you just introduce yourself to somebody with the same stature who knows what the college is, they know where you stand, right? The only advantage that you get is that. Secondly, placements and the teaching that you get through college is dependent on the college that you're with. If supposing you are in a new IM, you won't get to learn from teachers in JBIMS, likewise in the other way around. So when it comes to this decision, while it is a risk, please don't think of this as something where you just have to keep choosing between a college. It's about choosing where you stand and what your job is going to be like in the future, or what your standing will be in the future. And the concept of this risk thing, I feel like while it is risky, you can always take a mock right now and see where you stand. It might be risky because you don't know what will happen in CET, but right now you can see where you are. If supposing you take CET right now, take a mock right now, if you're getting around 130, 140, or even a 120, I think you're in a good position right now to not study much and still crack CET and get through JBIMS. If you get a lower score, but you're confident that you can crack JB and put the hard work and you're willing to take that risk, go for it. But it's about what tag you want. It's not about what risk or what the probability of this is and how things are. There are very few students who are extremely serious with JBIMS, and they are the ones who crack things in the future. That's what matters, not everything else. So keep that one thing in mind. And in the end, the decision between a college and, like, for me, it was between NMIMS and JB in the first year. In the second year, it was between JB, XLR, and FMS. And I had very different opinions on every time. When I had XLR and FMS admits, I was already a part of JP Morgan and interning with them. So I did not want to go and switch at that point of time. But when I had NMIMS and JBIMS, it was very clear that JB was better for finance and it would prove a better decision for me in the longer term. And it did. So even in the short term, in a year, it has so far been a much better decision. So that's how it is. It's up to you and you need to decide how that works. Aditya, anything to add here?
No, I think it sums it up. It would help if you told us the name of the college, we would give a better opinion. But yeah, CET is unpredictable. See what scores you're getting now. It is risky to wait for CET. But a lot of people join colleges and do that because JVCs are lower, so it sorts of evens it out. So think about that. Think about the difference in the colleges. If it's reputed as much as JB level, it doesn't make sense to try harder. You can focus on your academics, your placements there, and try to kill it over there. But just try to see the difference in the colleges. Try to talk to some people about what you should do. And yeah, if you can DM us with more details of the college, and we'll definitely help you.
Yeah, please feel free to do that. A couple of fun questions from Nikita. She's a friend, so she's asking this, but mainly when it comes to managing time, honestly, I actually do have a lot to say on this. But I feel like when you have a proper goal in life, you end up managing time properly. I think that's the best thing. And when it comes to managing other actions in life, again, I'm not sure what these actions are, but anything in life becomes manageable if you're putting in the effort, I think. And Aditya, I think you are an expert in time management, so please go for it.
Yeah, I don't think the question was regarding time management, so I will skip. Ananya is asking, I have a work ex of 6 years. Can I target JB? Will there be any problem during placement? So no, Ananya, there is no problem. And just even outside looking for jobs, the JBIMS network, the JBIMS tag is going to help you a lot. Even if you have 6 years, you can expect that after an MBA from JBIMS, there will be a better role you'll get. There'll be an increment in salary you'll get. It won't be a waste of 2 years. That's for sure.
Yeah, like you need to keep in mind that when your journey in JBIMS doesn't end with placements. It doesn't end. It doesn't start with entering JB. That, like, your goal doesn't end with JBIMS, and your goal doesn't end with the placements as well. It's a full journey. Let's say God forbid something happens, you get a bad placement after JBIMS. A year after that, you can still switch out and get something else, right? You're still at that caliber after that point of time. You have an alumni network to rely on. You have friends who are in good companies and good roles where you can go about. There are a lot of things where you can do after that, right? So in that aspect, just keep that in mind. You have to keep working hard. Don't look at a final placement as an offer. And 6 years is perfectly fine. I really don't think it's a like 6 years is not a very big thing. There are people who are like that. And if you look up on LinkedIn, you'll find a lot of people. They'll be better guides than we are. LinkedIn is honestly the best for understanding how people are in JB, what they do in life.
Yeah. Will I be able to lead the church better after graduating from JB? Definitely. So one interesting thing about JB is the degree is MMS, Master of Management Studies. So it is not a master in business. It is management. Business is typically for profit. That's a year is management. You can lead whatever. You can lead a church. You can lead an NGO, whatever you want. It's not about business. So yeah, that. Is it possible to get front-end investment banking from JBIMS? Yes, it is. Depends on your skills. It is obviously coveted. A lot of people want that, but it is also very hard to get in because of the competition. But it is possible.
Yeah, and if you have the experience, if you have the knowledge for it, it's definitely doable. Like I have no reason. There's no reason why you would.
Yeah, definitely.
A few questions on finance and marketing when it comes to how do you select. Mainly when you need to think about this, right? Like what our suggestion always has been is just do a couple of courses, try to expand your knowledge in each of them. Like Harsh had done this himself. Like if you see Harsh's CV, if you see his LinkedIn as well, you'll find marketing, you'll find consulting, you'll find finance, you'll find operations. He had kind of experienced all of it before an MBA, before he joined an MBA. He had done all of it properly, and he knew what he wanted once he was in. He still explored after his summer internship, and he was still open to more roles after that as well. I think he's the biggest all-rounder you'll find in JB. I was completely finance. I think Aditya wanted finance or consulting. He was focused on that mainly, more consulting for Aditya. I was completely in finance. Harsh was one who was fine with the marketing role also after 2 years at JB, would not mind. Because he was always interested to know more, and that was because he had explored everything and he knew that he wanted to do that. He knew that he wanted to go through it and experience that himself. I was sure because I'd done finance. I knew that was my decision for JBIMS as well. So that's how it works. Explore the knowledge, gain the skills that you need, gain the knowledge. You yourself will know whether you like it or not. If you're willing to learn finance and go into the depth of finance for a couple of months before getting into JB, you will be after as well. That's how it works.
Also in JBIMS, the first year is common for all. So you have time to. Second year is when you select a specialization. So first year you have to study marketing, finance, operations, everything. See what interests you. Also, you have to select a specialization after your summer internship. So you can see if you liked your summer internship in whatever domain that is, and then take a call. So I interned in sales and marketing at Marico, but I opted for finance because I didn't feel that sales and marketing was a good fit for what I wanted to do. Right. So yeah, you'll have time to decide when you come to JBIMS. You can talk to professors. You have to study those subjects anyway. So there is time.
Yeah, and Akshay, is there a good tea shop near JBIMS? You know where JBIMS is. You'll find good tea, good pav bhaji, good vada pavs. You'll find everything over there. Good pizzas, you name it, and you'll find everything there. It's literally like it's a financial hub and the best place to be in Bombay. So, I mean, you have everything there. You just walk around. For people who want to spend more, there's Starbucks there. Everything is around the same area. And at one point, everything.
Yeah, and there are 5-star hotels also.
Yeah. Whatever you want, you have it around the same circle.
Yeah, it's near Churchgate Station. It's near Oval Maidan.
Yeah,
it is
recently,
near Marine Drive. Very happening location.
Right. In fact, IPL is happening right next to it. IPL is
two stadiums are right next to JBIMS, Bravo and Wankhede. So walking distance where you can watch IPL also.
Exactly. And a couple of days ago, in fact, I'd gone to JBIMS and I'd had pav bhaji right opposite JB. And it was really nice. Like you can compete. It competes against Amar pav bhaji, just not very well known. So you can't compete. Like it's not as famous, but it's really good street food and really good pav bhaji there. So definitely worth trying it out.
Pratham had asked a question about should I leave new IIMs and risk it all. So again, Pratham, it depends on your risk appetite. See if you can wait a year, give another shot at JBIMS if your parents are okay with that, if you're doing a job, if you can. Otherwise, a safer option would be to give CET along with your new college. A lot of people again do that. So even if you get JBIMS, you can change fees. JBIMS fees are much lesser than UIMs. So that will still work out in your favor. Overall, you'll end up paying less fees. And otherwise, you don't lose a year. But it's a very personal decision, guys. So some people can wait, some people don't want to wait, don't want to put in that much effort. All depends. LR या abstract के लिए कोई book लेके सही होगा या just give variety of mocks. Depends on what level you're starting at. If you want to start with the basics, then yeah, a book would be good. We have ebooks in our course. But if you know a bit, then you can start with mocks, work it backwards. Mocks में जो नहीं आता, you can go back and study that.
Yeah, for abstract, I think I keep getting confused between RD Sharma and RS Agrawal. Just go to any shop, you'll find, just ask them for one of the two in abstract, you'll find the book. But it's a pretty good book. It starts from basics. It teaches you everything. It has a lot of questions around everything. So that is what will help the most. And yeah, just a few more things about internships. Firstly, nobody fails to get an internship. We have 100% placements, and that's how it's been. Aditya, maybe you can give more guidance on this, but everyone gets summers. It is not an issue in JBIMS, and even when college starts late, like for example, our batch started late, so that was the first time it started late. But then the next batch also started late, and you can see how good their placements are. So they are not affected as much by it. Like it's not a big deal. So just think about it when you come. Just see that.
Not affected
again,
at all.
Go to LinkedIn and check.
I mean, yeah, just check where JBIMS students are interning. They're all great places. So no one fails to get a summer internship. Mantralay, Khao Gali. I mean, we didn't go to college much, so we don't know, but maybe must be good.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions
the
of you should be
Mantralaya
eating
is
in town,
also
we're in for
next
that also.
door. Mantralaya is also next door. So
Yeah. Ratul, it'll be first attempt at CET. Please give some suggestions, motivation. Suggestions, we already have a lot on how to prepare on our channel, but when it comes to motivation, I think the smiles that we do this with, I think that's, and how we feel after knowing where we're placed and how things are going to be for us and for our batchmates, I think that speaks for itself. In each and every life that we have, we are pretty happy with how our journey has been. I don't think there is more motivation that we can give than our journey that has been so far. But yeah, you'll find a lot of, like, just keep watching our lives, stay tuned to our channel, the videos. That is the pure source of motivation. And in fact, for more motivation, we are going to take interviews of toppers from CET, last year's toppers, and they'll be sharing their insights. I think listening to them was something that gave me a lot of motivation while I was preparing for CET. So stay tuned for that also. Lots of things coming up. It's going to be really nice. Like, we already have around, I think, 15 videos recorded and saved in our unlisted playlist. We just have to click on publish and they'll be there. So stay tuned. Lots of good content coming up soon.
So we'll probably take the last question. SG is all again asked, and even Tulika has asked about taking your college versus waiting for CT. So we'll just end with that. It has been answered in this stream a couple of times, but I'm sure this is the main question bothering all you aspirants because CT has been delayed. Now it depends. There is no one answer ki CT de do ya college le lo. There is no such answer. You have to just consider a couple of factors and take the decision. Or you can give us more information and we can try to help you with that decision.
Yeah,
But
and
look at where you are at right now, what your preparation is, what your scores are getting, what shot you have at colleges. And obviously you can improve, and if you believe you can get JBIMS, then do that. But do a self-introspection, just self-introspect, see what you can do, see what you can get, see if you're ready to put in the hours, work hard, do anything it takes for the top ranks and JBIMS. That is one. Secondly, see what college you're getting, compare it with what you could get. How much difference is there? What roles are there in college A versus college B? Where you want to be? How important is it to you? And I mean, if there's a comparable college to JBIMS, then my advice would be, or even I would have taken it. But I had a goal set. I knew that I would work how much ever it took to get into JBIMS. So a little self-introspection, guys, and some research about college A versus the colleges in CET. What is the difference between them? And if that difference is worth it for you, then you can wait. And again, depending on your work ex, if you want to wait more, if you are already taking a gap, you want to take a longer gap. All these things you have to consider, but it's a very personal decision.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess we'll end the live for now. We'll come back soon. Don't worry about it. Keep your questions ready. And guys, just one thing, please keep the comment section respectable at all times. It doesn't matter. Like Nikita is a friend, so please don't. It's just it's a joke. It's not a thing. But please keep it respectable. It doesn't matter. You guys are studying for JBIMS. You need to be respectable at all times. You cannot have these things in life. Like it's a very esteemed institute. And even if you're trying to be a part of it, you need to keep these things out in control. So please make just keep it in mind. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys in the next live again. If you guys are interested in our course, our link is in the description. You'll find everything, all the information. Join our Telegram channel. You find a lot of stuff there, but stay tuned.